And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Sunday morning to all you out there in Woo Nation. Once again, welcoming you back into another episode of
Woo! Fantasy.
Fantasy right here on Rotoballer.com. That, of course, is Rotoballer.com, your one stop shop for all things fantasy. Go and sign up today, rotoballer.com/radio for the best premium pass in all of fantasy sports that gets you exclusive rankings. Great articles by the team out there, DFS cheat sheets and lineup optimizers, which are among the best in the industry. Go up and sign up today, rotoballer.com/radio. Add in the promo code WooFantasy for an extra special discount at checkout. So go sign up today, rotoballer.com. And it is finally here. It's a special edition of the Woo Fantasy Game Day Live Show. And you might ask, what is today's special edition? What is this special edition you might be speaking of? It's Javonte Williams week, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're finally here.
Javonte watch is now concluded.
It's taken 13 weeks for us to get here, but we are finally here.
In the most important time of the year.
Most important time of the year. We are getting into the playoff time. And I love the kind of the narrative I've seen on Twitter over the course of this morning and even yesterday is that we're calling we're celebrating people that are going to be starting Javonte Williams today, but we're calling them, if you've stashed Javonte Williams for the better part of the season, get out of here with that BS. But Javonte Williams has been a guy that you've been plugging in at the flex for most weeks throughout the season, working 50-50 with Melvin Gordon and providing solid production throughout the season. Get out of here with that I'm stashing him on my bench narrative out there. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. But I will say this. The Eagles trying to steal the thunder of Javonte Williams week by bringing back Minshew Mania today with Jalen Hurts hurting and out today for the Philadelphia Eagles. We're not sweating that whatsoever. I'm celebrating it. We are on Javonte Williams week, ladies and gentlemen. Fire him up, load him up into all your lineups today. He is guaranteed, I'll say this, he's guaranteed to bust now because I'm building him up so hot and heavy today. But anyways,
not even you could stop this momentum.
That momentum is crazy. But here we are, co-host Nick Heffley coming in again for another week. We're right here, right at the beginning of, if you've not changed your league settings whatsoever or anything, this is usually the final week of fantasy football regular season play. So this is an all-important week for a lot of fantasy managers out there. So what are we looking at today?
Outside of Javonte watch, no, I think most of the leagues that we do, we actually go another week, but it feels weird that this shouldn't, with the new format the NFL has got out, it feels weird that it's not the last week of the regular season here. But no, I pulled out all the Weiss family's, all Broncos season ticket holders. I pulled out any and everything Broncos that they got. My Bears can go ahead and keep losing and get better draft picks because we're all about our boy Javonte today in some very important leagues.
Yes.
Loving it. Let's go.
Very important leagues like the SBFFC, where we both have him and are firing him up today in the leagues. Obviously we're going to be we've got to make up ground for those of you out there that are coming off the disappointing Thursday night affair. If you have Dak Prescott, if you have Dalton Schultz, CeeDee Lamb,
anybody that played in that game outside of Tony Pollard.
I was going to say, aside from Tony Pollard, that late bunny touchdown that he scored in that game, you're behind the eight ball as we get into the Sunday action here. So we're going to need a lot of big performances to make up the gap there. So. And it's weird too because you're looking at this is week 13, and you got a lot of guys that are needing either must win situations or hoping to kind of secure first round buys, situations like that. And we're getting questions in that are going to be asking, should I start Rex Burkhead? And guys like that.
Maybe.
this is where we're at in week 13 of the injury Armageddon season that we've had in 2021. So, gosh, it's going to be a big day, and we're here to take all those questions. So fire them away here at the Rotoballer YouTube account, Roto Superstar Twitter account, or even the Rotoballer Twitter account. We're here to answer questions leading up to kickoff and get you ready and set to go, as always, here with the crew. So, firing away, we're going to jump into it. And Chris
Bolly put Saban's burner up first, but okay.
He's ready and waiting to jump in here today, too. So, Chris Bolly need to know start Chase Claypool, Bailey. Elijah Moore, Bailey. I think it's Bailey. But anyways, starting Chase Claypool, Elijah Moore, or Van Jefferson today. Easy one for me. I'm going Claypool. Do you have a differing opinion there?
I mean, I actually maybe starting Van Jefferson if Odell is out. We don't necessarily know his status. I think that would probably be my start. You and I were talking right before we got on about Elijah Moore, and he just scares me in some leagues there. If I have better options, I'm definitely going there. We were talking about earlier. I believe I don't have a better option, so I'm starting Elijah Moore. Yeah, I mean this one's a tough one for me. I think I would tend to agree with Brandon. I would start Claypool, but if OBJ is if he is out, I am starting Van Jefferson here.
Which it's odd too, is because if you go and look at the numbers right now, Jacksonville in the season is 15th in points allowed to the wide receiver at 22.4. Baltimore just right there at 22.1. So as far as matchup wise that you're looking at there between the two, it's really a coin flip situation. But I probably am going to trust Claypool as the second option in that offense, as opposed to Van Jefferson, that could be the third potential option in that offense. Odell Beckham, I know he's questionable, but all indications are is that he's going to play in that game. But let's face it, I think you're going to be looking at a heavy game plan, a heavy dose, especially second half of Sony Michel in that game, with Darrell Henderson likely out in that ball game. I don't expect to see the Jaguars hanging around in that game either. So it's going to probably limit a lot of opportunities from the passing side. So that's where I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Claypool there. And I think Claypool, last time playing the Baltimore, had a great game, a great outing against them too. Traditionally has done well against them. So
tends to do well. And I mean, this last week he should have had a touchdown. I mean, I think he is beyond due.
Yeah, I think so too. Unfortunately, because I need Deontay Johnson and Pat Freiermuth to have big games today too. So let's hope Claypool has a solid game. If he gets in the end zone, so be it, Chris. But I do need Deontay Johnson and Freiermuth to score over him. So that's where we're going to go, Chris. There, we want you to plug in Chase Claypool in your lineup there today. Fire him up. And our buddy here finally, quick, early and easy, jumping in here today. And he wants to get a Roll Tide today, but not going to get a Roll Tide. We're not going to get the traditional Roll Tide because that is against my religion, first and foremost, to say that whatsoever today. But yes, congratulations on what I deemed was inevitable SEC championship victory for Alabama, the Crimson Tide, yesterday in that game. So happy championship to you, Saban's burner. College football is just an ugly, egregious sport, and that's why I had Alabama win in that ball game yesterday. Kudos to me for placing the money line bet on Alabama. Go me. So, Saban actually chiming in with a question today. So,
he actually has a question today.
Yeah, starting Thielen in wide receiver 2 and Waddle at the flex. Keep Jacob, CEH, Sanders on the bench. What say you? I'm actually,
I'll let you take it there. It sounds like you got a little opinion there.
Well, I mean, it's close between putting in Jacobs over Waddle at the flex for me, because we had actually breaking news coming in right before jumping in on the show today that Jalen Richard's on the COVID list. So that actually helps Jacobs out in that situation today in that matchup, because last time I believe if Jalen Richard missed the game, I think we had Jacobs out there running routes at almost a 70% clip So from a PPR perspective, that actually is a good situation for Jacobs, and I think puts him at almost a darn near a fringe RB1 situation from a production standpoint today. So I'm wavering between those two. Waddle's hard to pull him out of the lineup because he's performed so well and consistent in recent weeks. But it just depends. I mean, if you need that home run play, I think you stick with Waddle there. But if you're looking at more of kind of a safe floor, I think you're going to go with Jacobs, is what I'm looking at there.
I'm agreeing with you a little bit. So I know Jacob, I'm definitely not starting CH. Miles Sanders is in consideration. I think until we know exactly what Miles Sanders is going to give us, I don't feel comfortable starting him, at least over Josh Jacobs. So Jacobs is definitely my guy out of your bench guys.
Yeah.
However,
well, let me plug in here too real quick because he's got a secondary point here. He's starting Madison and Gaskin as his 1-2 running back today. I'm starting Jacobs over Gaskin. So then the question for me becomes Gaskins or Waddle at the flex.
Okay, yeah, we're absolutely starting Jacobs over Gaskin. I have Gaskin, and I'm a Gaskin truther here. I would definitely be starting this week anyway, Jacobs over Gaskin. However, Waddle and if you know me, I'm a big Adam Thielen guy. This is going to be a down week, unfortunately, for Adam Thielen. So I am starting Waddle and Gaskin. For me, I'm starting both Dolphins. That's right, starting both Dolphins. Thielen. This is one of those weeks that I think it's going to be a Justin Jefferson week. And it's shocking to say it, but I'm going to bench Adam Thielen this week.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that it's going to be a Justin Jefferson week, but my goodness, woof.
Feels like a 3 for 30, 4 for 50 kind of a week from Thielen. I think Gaskin, Waddle, and Jacobs are going to best that.
Thielen with a touchdown in 5 of his last 6 games.
Regression mean be
riding the hot hand. He's been fairly consistently targeted. His worst outing was week 9 at Baltimore with a 2 for 6 outing, but he did get into the end zone in that game on one of the 2 catches. I find it hard because of the matchup against Detroit to take Thielen out of the lineup. Obviously, you've got Dalvin Cook out of the game today. You're going to have Madison in there as well, which Saban does have in his starting lineup. Oof, yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, I think no matter what, we definitely go ahead and get Jacobs in there. That is a must, no matter what.
Jacobs is in for sure as the RB2. That goes without saying. So that I'm definitely starting Jacobs as the RB2 there. It just
depends on who you trust more, Savings.
Yeah, it comes down more than anything. It comes down to whether or not I want to start Gaskin or Waddle at the flex for me. Whereas Nick's going Waddle over Thielen, and then starting Gaskin as well.
Gaskin scoring touchdowns, man. I mean, he's getting a big timeshare.
It's a decent matchup today too. They're at home. They're against the Giants. The Giants defense a little bit banged up right now. I think Adoree Jackson's out today for them. Helps Waddle to that degree. With Adoree Jackson out, the secondary's not been performing great.
And Devontae Parker back. Let's not forget that either.
Devontae Parker back, which will be a negative to the narrative for Jalen Waddle, because I think the games that Waddle and Parker have played together, Parker's out-targeted Waddle. So that's one thing where I'm kind of a little bit iffy there, when that's the coin toss for me between Waddle and Gaskin. But based on workload in recent weeks, I'd probably go Gaskin. I'd go Jacobs RB2. I'd go Gaskin flex, and I'm keeping Thielen in for sure. That's how I'm looking at it right there.
Did you ever start counting up to see who is right more, you or me?
I mean, no, obviously.
She had
a decent week yesterday, and then of course, as Saban can attest to yesterday, I was definitely right on the Alabama win call in that game. Everyone was nervous about it.
Hang on, two seconds here.
What's that?
I'll be right back. My battery all of a sudden it was full, and now it's just like, oh, you got 2 minutes remaining. So let me go get my charger.
Okay. So so we got Nick going to get the charger with the draining battery situation. So I'm going to go into Sam's question here. Wanting to know to start either Van Jefferson or Clyde Edwards. Hilarious. I like the connotation there. That's actually pretty good. Going with the funny names there between Jefferson and Clyde Edwards. But for me, I'm probably going to start Van Jefferson in that situation over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Edwards-Helaire been fighting the illness most of the week and missing practice, and let's not discount the fact that Darrell Williams is still heavily involved in that offense also. So for me, just from the workload perspective and the matchup alone, I like Van Jefferson's chances to get into the end zone in that game over Clyde Edwards-Helaire playing at home over a very difficult Denver Broncos defense. So Nick, jumping back in, if you want to chime in on this one here, I'm going Van Jefferson over Clyde Edwards-Helaire personally.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to OBJ for me. I'm actually gonna go Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this, just simply because. I mean, if Beckham's in, I mean, Jefferson could very well do like a 2 for 30 kind of a thing. Whereas I think that Edwards-Helaire is going to get that on the ground. Nice nicknames, by the way, on both these guys.
Right, that's what I said.
But I think it's going to be my answer on that is CEH is going to be my guy, unless if Odell is out, obviously we're starting Jefferson. Odell's in. I'm going with what I would deem consistent production, as much as it can be with CEH.
Yeah, that's just kind of. It just seems like a little bit better of a matchup. That's why I'm saying to go with Van Jefferson there for Sam. So that's who we're going to plug in there in your lineup today. So next question up is good friend of the show, the Sunday morning show here, Joe B, jumping in. It's got Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Cole Beasley, or Rex Burkhead PPR. He needs one wide receiver and one in the flex. For me, I think I might be discounting and pulling out Beasley out of that mix early on there. I think I'm going to plug in Burkhead in the flex because of the workload situation. So it comes down to Devontae Parker and Kendrick Bourne. So between those two, which way are you leaning?
Ooh, this is tough. I mean, Bourne had 2 scores last week. Parker first week back. Beasley could be getting more of the consistent production in and out. I mean, you are looking at your first week without Tre'Davious White for Kendrick Bourne. So
expected to be a terrible weather situation. That's what's really kind of pulling me off of both Bourne and Beasley there.
And that's actually why I'm going to trim Beasley. I think Beasley's going to get a lot of work right around the numbers. Going to see a lot over the top. I don't think any of those three is getting in the end zone, unfortunately. So for a sheer volume thing, I think you're going to see something like a 6 or 7 for 60 or 70 kind of a line out of Beasley. None of them get in the end zone. My ranking hierarchy is definitely going to be Beasley, Bourne, Parker on those. I think all three are actually going to be pretty close to being right there together. But Beasley, just because of situation, is going to be my guy.
Yeah, I've got Bourne slightly ahead of Beasley, but both are in that terrible situation with the weather. Parker, I just don't know if I'm ready to trust yet. First week back for Tua. Who knows how exactly healthy he's going to be in that matchup.
Yeah. And by the way, Joe, I'm a Devontae Parker fan. I do have a league where I just actually wound up putting him in and I'm starting him over one of these guys, Cortland Sutton. Parker's in over Cortland Sutton for me. Because I think it's going to be a big Jerry Jeudy week in the air. But I think we're going to see 33 rush 33 times tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not buying on any of the wide receivers for the Broncos this week because obviously we know Javonte Williams week is upon us. It's just I'm hoping for a 40 carry game from Javonte Williams. So
hey, let's not we need to save him for the rest of the playoffs here, Pete. Don't get too nuts.
But to put a put a cap here on Joe's question. We're both going Burkett in the flex. I think
Mm-hmm.
we're agreeing there. I think I'll give you a little bit of the credence there with Beasley. I think I trust him a little bit more, closer to the line of scrimmage in a bad weather game to get some catches. Probably more of the safer floor there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'll agree with you at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think too, just like B and I were saying earlier, if you happen to start some of those Cowboys guys and need some bigger games, I think Bourne has the potential for probably the biggest game out of all those guys, but Beasley is a good, safe, I think 10 to 15 points there. So
yeah, that's what I'm looking at. But then dialing it back, we were talking about Javonte Williams and a heavy workload potentially today. It's an interesting situation with Javonte Williams this week because he's in a situation to where, I mean, it's one of two things can happen here. Either he completely goes off, has a great game against the Chiefs defense, who's not allowed a running back to get in the end zone in 7 weeks, and ultimately the coaching staff decides, let's ride the young guy the rest of the way and see how he performs, or he completely craps the bed and we're back to Melvin Gordon in the lineup and ahead in a 50-50 split, 55-45 for the next few weeks yet again. So I think that's what we're looking at with it. A lot hinges on Javonte Williams' performance in that game tonight against the Kansas City Chiefs. Personally, I'm banking on him having a good game, through the air and rushing, both sides of it. Broncos do have their offensive line back and healthy in this game too. Last week they were a little bit banged up. So I think we're looking at a good situation for Javonte. There's a reason behind a lot of people being excited for his performance later on tonight in that game. So like I said, a lot hinges on his performance and what his workload is going to look like the rest of the way. Would you agree or disagree?
No, 100%. I mean, they're gonna want to put up or shut up situation here. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting, or at least I'm hoping for tonight. I need a big performance out of him tonight. So jumping back into the questions here, bring them in, of course, to the Rotoballer YouTube page, Roto Superstar Twitter account, Rotoballer Twitter account as well. Like, share, and subscribe to our page here at Rotoballer YouTube. Anthony need to know he's got Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans, Alexander Madison, Deontay Johnson needing to pick 3. So we're looking at superstars here and excluding one. What are we thinking?
I'm benching Mike Evans today. I think we're gonna be seeing a lot more to Godwin. Clearly Leonard Fournette is the man there now. Evans, I think this is going to be more of a boomer bust type situation where I think they're going to be up big on the Falcons. Diggs, I think they're going to need to throw to him. Madison obviously is the 100% must start out of this group, and I do think Deontay Johnson's going to be getting a lot, over the middle. He usually is going to have some good games against the Ravens. So really, if it comes down to Diggs and Evans for me, I am absolutely starting Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I think I'm going to bench Mike Evans, even though the matchup is amazing against Moreau for the Falcons. That cornerback gets torched weekly. But we've seen here, and it's kind of a trend that we've seen over the last few weeks with that Buccaneers offense, is when they go on the road, they've struggled a little bit to a degree. So you might be seeing a little bit of that again today. We saw that they leaned a lot on Leonard Fournette last week in that 4-touchdown game. The only thing I'd be worried about would be Diggs and that weather. That be affected to a small degree. But I agree with you. Madison's a must play. I think Deontay Johnson's a must play. So it's a coin flip situation for me between Diggs and Evans, and I'm going to go with Diggs ultimately at the end of the day there.
And speaking about Moreau, go and pick up, if you need a tight end, go pick up Foster Moreau. It's
He's
one of those
the
things.
DFS darling this week. What are you talking about?
He is, but I mean, it's one of those things too. If you need him weekly, who knows how long Darren Waller's going to be out? I mean, I'm picking him up and starting him. I think he's a lot better of a bet right now than a guy like T.J. Hawkinson. Like, I'm picking up and starting him over T.J. Hawkinson this week, which is blasphemous. But I mean, who else do they have outside of Rufio there? They don't really have anybody.
It's a tough situation. I mean, you're kind of bringing up a good splitting off point there with Foster Moreau. Is Yeah, he's the guy. He's going to be the chalk play at tight end this week in DFS at FanDuel. Everybody's going to be on him. But for me, situations that I've personally been involved in is when you go with that chalk play like a Foster Moreau, what usually tends to happen? That guy ultimately disappoints. Like you're going to see Foster Moreau bring you 3 for 45 in that game today and not get into the end zone. I mean, most people are thinking it's a dead shot bet, 100% going to be willing he's going to hit today. I'm not so sure. For me in my DFS lineups, I'm going a little bit more contrarian. I'm going away from Foster Moreau just for the off chance that he does underperform in that game today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Minshew Mania? Are you putting him in any DFS lineups this week?
Not plugging in Minshew, but I do believe that it's a better situation for Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit more consistency from the passing game for the Philadelphia Eagles today. You're going to see a lot of that, running around, extending plays that Minshew tends to do when he gets the happy feet in the pocket. It's going to be good for Devontae Smith. He's going to be able to get down the field, get open, find some clearance, in the coverage, and really kind of work with the yards after the catch, where I think Dallas Goedert is going to be relied on a lot, around that 10 to 15-yard range. Probably going to see a very solid game out of Dallas Goedert again today as well. So, yeah, I like both of those with Minshew under center today.
And real quick, just before we hit up some other questions, I realize that a lot of teams are, this could be the last week of your regular season, but I know for many of the ones you and I play in, and that comes next week.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to start thinking about next week. If you've got guys on your bench who you're not planning on starting this year, if you got backup quarterbacks who good and well you're not going to start them over your current quarterback, go out and go pick up a defense. Like these guys right here this next week, they're at home against the Lions. You got the Panthers at home against the Falcons next week. Go ahead and pick up a D and stash them. Go grab some of those guys that they wound up having to drop somebody really good. Tell you somebody that I really like is Amir Abdullah. As well is going to be one of those guys for Carolina that I think you should go out there and go grab. I don't know necessarily that Chuba Hubbard is going to be given the workload like he was earlier in the year. So those are the kind of guys like you need to go get those guys on your bench, stash them, get them ready for next week, because those are the kind of guys that are going to win you the championship. You got to play for this week, but you also got to play for next week, especially if you're going to need some spots for this next week. So.
Yeah, for example, I told you a couple of weeks ago, the SBFFC, our high stakes league in Kentucky, I've got the Patriots defense that's been killing it over the course of the last 6 games, looking at 20 points a game, almost every single game the last few weeks. They're on bye next week in week 14. So 2 weeks ago, the aforementioned Broncos defense was available on the waiver wire. I picked them up. I stash them on the bench, have them ready to play in week 14 when the Patriots are on bye. It's stuff like that. You have to kind of think well enough ahead. If you're in contention, to go ahead and kind of plan out weeks ahead, get ahead of the competition you're going to be playing against. Don't let them have kind of an even keel, heads up, situation with you when it comes to waiver wire situations and things like that. So
absolutely
similar situation. You got Jonathan Taylor on that week 14 bye next week. So you got to plan ahead. Yeah. What are you going to do with Jonathan Taylor in your lineup? How are you going to replace him next week?
Yeah, and feel free to. I mean, if you have a league that you have IR spots on, use them. That's what they're there for. I mean, I just put David Johnson on an IR spot and went out to go pick up a defense out there for next week. You got plenty of time to figure out who to drop. So utilize those spots to your advantage.
Yeah, exactly. That's planning ahead if you're going to be involved in the fantasy playoffs. That's definitely the way to go about things. So we'll jump back into a few of the questions here. CB wanting to know, start Kyler with the rain and downpour on that field in Chicago today, more importantly, coming off the ankle injury, like he mentions here in the question, or go with Heineke at QB today. So I'm going to go with Heineke over Kyler Murray. Probably going to be a bold call. Everybody's got that mindset of, okay, this is my stud quarterback. I've got to plug him into the lineup. But like CB puts in the question here, this guy's coming off an ankle injury. And we even saw it last year. If you want to go back to 2020, banged up shoulder, comes to play later on in the season, looked like a shell of himself when he was playing with an injury. So
He
that's
still looks
definitely
like a shell of himself.
he does. So it's really pushing me off there. And Kyle, Heineke's played fairly well over the last few weeks. So yeah, I don't have any questions about going with Heineke today.
Yeah, I mean, I like Heineke. I was touting him last week. I mean, he's going to Vegas, which I don't think is exactly a great matchup. I mean, it is. It's tough not to start Kyler. The Bears do very well, especially with guys coming in. So I think this is going to, if Kyler had his running ability, I think this could be a decent play. But man, yeah, this is tough. I'm always a fan of not benching your studs. So in this case, I'm going to go Kyler Murray. They would not put him out there on that field if they did not think that he would be playing and not getting hurt. So
they're also in a situation where they're really kind of playing for playoff situations too. Mm-hmm. They've got to get him back out there on the field. So
I don't know that they just have to get him back out there. I mean, why do you have him? Why do you have him come on in a week like this to where, it's tough, man. I mean, they're playing at home next week, then they got the Rams the week after that. I mean, that's tough going into Chicago. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you I think Arizona is going to win this game, but I want them to win this game. But that's just a tough call. If you're not going to bring him out there if you don't think he is 100% healthy.
Yeah, I mean that's true from that perspective. Yeah, I just think there's a little. They've gotten to the point to where it's hard to keep him off the field as long as they have, and at some point or another, you have to wonder what's exactly going on with that ankle situation. Same thing with DeAndre Hopkins. They're both going to be out there on the field today. They've both missed a lot of time. I'm not expecting too much from both of them today from a production standpoint. So that's why. Right. I like Heineke a little bit. I think he has the more upside between the two.
Yeah.
If you're putting him on an even field, weather out of the equation, I'm probably going Kyler Murray there. But you factor in the injury, you factor in the weather. For me, I think that leans me a little bit more to Heineke is how I'm looking at that there. Going into, you got Kyle up here next. Need to know Higgins or Claypool, full point PPR.
Ooh, I am absolutely going Higgins today. I think that is the start. I think we're going to be chucking around. And I think he is going to be the guy yet again this week, as we told you last week. I think Higgins is going to be the guy there in Cincinnati. I personally am going Higgins. I think Claypool again. I think Claypool's going to have a decent game, but I think Higgins is going to have by far the better game here.
I'm actually going to go with Claypool here between those two. Higgins, Chargers secondary, I think they've allowed the second least deep passes over the course of the entire 2021 season. And that's really what Higgins does best, is kind of get down the field for those long receptions. And I think if they take those out of the equation for Higgins, he's probably going to be a little bit more of an underperforming commodity here in week 13. Or, I've said previously on another question, with Claypool, I like that matchup today. And I think that's a situation where Claypool can potentially get into the end zone against that Ravens defense today. So, Kyle, you're 50-50 there. He's got Higgins. I've got Claypool. So we're leaving it to you on that situation. Let a few more questions kind of build up into the pool and see what we get to bring. Yeah, and to the Claypool. There you go. Nice. That's what I like to hear. So, as always, like I said, bring those questions in. Rotoballer YouTube page here, Roto Superstar Twitter account, Rotoballer Twitter account as well. But we've talked a little bit about the Dolphins this morning in that situation. Let's go to the other side and talk about the Giants in that particular matchup. Daniel Jones out today with the injury. Sir Nex-a-Lot, Mike Glennon coming in today, former Bears quarterback. How are you? Sir Nex-a-Lot? Does that mean? Yeah.
I've not heard that one. That's great.
Yeah, he's got a lot of neck. I just come up with that off the top of my head. So that's
the neck thing always reminds me of former 49ers DB Merton Hanks.
Don't bring that name up. God bless. I hate that guy.
Oh, sorry, Brandon. My bad.
Absolutely hated Merton Hanks in the mid-90s.
Michael Vick.
That's we're past that at this point.
we'll never be past that, Brandon.
Yeah,
never.
I mean, yeah, we've made our way past that. I've accepted that loss. We're good to go.
I'm gonna be wearing my Vic jersey for you next week.
God bless. Anyways, so you've got a lot of people that are concerned about the situation and with the Giants offense today. It's funny to me how the Giants, as soon as Daniel Jones was declared inactive for the game, next thing you know, bam, Kadarius Toney's out. Bam, Sterling Shepard's out. Bam. It's like everybody's falling off the wagon for the Giants today, which leaves Saquon Barkley
and Emeril Lagasse. I mean,
yeah, the lone gunman today, basically for the Giants offense. A lot of people were probably expecting a subpar performance, especially now with Daniel Jones under center. How are you viewing Saquon Barkley in that matchup today?
My expectation is that Saquon does not have a really good day, which probably means that he is. I think Kenny Golladay could potentially be the guy here to be able to do something. It could even be a little bit of an Evan Ingram action here as well. But I think they're going to be down. I think they're going to be throwing the ball. If Barkley gets value, I think that's where it's going to be, is in the air.
Yeah, that's what I'm viewing as well. Mike Glennon, I think, the last couple of times he's been under center has really kind of peppered the running backs with targets. So that's good indication for Barkley today in that game. I don't think you're going to be able to see a lot from the outside edges, the receivers doing much. And God knows Evan Ingram is not going to do anything. That guy's kind of a waste of space at the tight end position.
Yeah. And last week was going to be the week if he was going to do anything, and he didn't do anything.
Diddly squat. So
piddly poo.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think we're in a good spot for Barkley today. He's probably not going to give you a ton from a rushing perspective. Probably going to be looking at like a 50 to 60 yard game from rushing from Barkley. But if that guy can kind of turn around and bring you like a 6 to 7 catch performance out of the backfield today, that all pretty much makes up for it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at with Barkley. I do like that matchup for him today. It's a little bit under the radar. A lot of people are kind of avoiding him, so I think that's a good thing for Barkley. Good contrarian play in DFS too, if you do want to happen to go that route, because I think a lot of people are going to be very, very heavy at the top of the board with certain players. You're going to see a lot of people playing Jonathan Taylor. You're going to see a lot of Joe Mixon today and a lot of Austin Eckler at the top part of the board. But then you're going to see people kind of digging a little bit further down, deeper into that roster pool with your plays like Jamal Williams today, and also Sony Michel in that game as well. So Barkley, definitely a nice, I think, contrarian play that you can kind of sneak into that lineup today. So
when did you start using the word contrarian? I've literally never heard you use it now, like the last couple of weeks. Contrarian.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of use it in my my articles that I do put out on rotoballer.com. So thanks for reading.
Dictionary use is coming in here.
Yeah, we're running down to the end of 2021, so I need to buy a new one. The word of day calendar is about to run out.
I need to buy a vowel.
Hey. yes. Can I get a K, please?
One.
1K. Yes, thank you, Pat. And we'll go back in.
Thank you, Vanna.
To the questions here. Rodney Bryce need to know Michael Pittman or OBJ. I think we're going Pittman there with a bullet. Obviously, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's that game on the road against the Texans. I think you're looking at Wentz potentially having a big day today, being a QB1. I think Pittman's in store for a nice solid day today too. And on the other side of that situation, sleeper potential, T.Y. Hilton always kills the Texans. And when he's healthy, when he plays the Texans, always puts up solid numbers against the Texans. I'm actually playing him in some DFS lineups today too.
Ooh, wow.
I think think Hilton's a guy that's going to get a little bit underlooked in that game today. So I think potential's there to get into the end zone for Hilton. I do like him having a solid game today. So if you're looking at an option for potential wide receiver 3, I think Hilton's definitely a guy you want to kind of sneak in today too.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, no. How you feel about Hilton there?
I just don't know the Colts are necessarily going to throw the ball that much. I think it's going to be a big Jonathan Taylor day. I mean, that's what I think.
I mean, Lord knows we all need that. Marlon Mack yet again going to be inactive for the Colts today, so it puts all the workload on to Jonathan Taylor. But I do think early on in that game, I think you're going to see some potential for the passing game for those Indianapolis Colts to really kind of provide some production there. So that's what I'm looking at too. And don't sleep on Tyrod Taylor in that offense. I think they might be able to kind of bring things back around today. The Colts secondary has really been very, very bad over the course of the last month and a half. So I think that's a good situation for Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins, especially as kind of a very, very low end type of a sleeper today. I do like those options too from the other side of the ball for the Texans today. How do you view Brandon Cooks today? Any excitement level?
I mean, it's hard to be excited about Brandon Cooks, but no, I mean, I think he could be a great DFS guy. And I mean, somebody, if I've got him, I got to think you got to plug him into your lineup, right? I mean, you're not excited necessarily about Rex Burkhead. I would say Cooks is looking in the 70 to 90 yard range with a touchdown. I think that's about what he's going to do today.
Yeah. So getting back into the question, got Andrea here needing to know, or Andrea needing to know Jamal Williams, Javonte Williams, PPR today. Come on. That's Javonte Williams all day long over Jamal Williams. Let's be honest here. Come on.
I don't know about all day long, but no, I don't know. I don't want to know. I would want to know who else you got in running back and flex to where you're not starting Jamal. That would be a big question of mine there. So Andrew, get back with us. Let us know what you got. But I mean, Jamal, I think is going to be a good starter too. But we're going this all day long.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously we're talking. It's Javonte Williams week, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. We're not avoiding that. But yeah, Andrea, get back with us. Let us know, who do you have at your flex right now, or who are your top 1-2 running backs? Because I think I agree, Nick. I think you want to get both of these two guys in the lineup from a sheer workload perspective. DeAndre Swift out for the Lions today. So that's really you're putting a lot of the onus on Jamal Williams in that game. Is he going to provide a ton, like from a rushing perspective? Probably not. But he's actually going to give you a lot of value from the receiving standpoint today too. So I like that. Let's be honest, the two running backs that are going to be behind Jamal Williams today too. I like Jamar Jefferson. He's been banged up, with the ankle injury the last few weeks. So I think if he gets a little bit of a run, you're probably going to see him get in a little bit. But yeah, obviously Jamal, Javonte both should be in your lineup. Jumping back in, she's got Terry McLaurin in the flex currently. Terry McLaurin or Jamal Williams for you? McLaurin on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, that's a tough call. I mean, I would almost want to know the other wide receivers and there was Scary Terry. Yeah, because I mean, in that case, I do. I think Jamal Williams is going to be getting, even some passing game work in that offense too. Where I think I would start Jamal Williams. I'm not, but Terry McLaurin for me is just so up and down to where, yeah, I'm probably starting Jamal. That's me.
Whew, man, yeah, that's a tough call. It's been hot and cold for Terry McLaurin over the past few weeks. So really when it boils down to it, I think you're looking at workload. Workload means opportunity. Opportunity means chances to score. I like Jamal Williams in that case over Terry McLaurin at your flex position. Let's be honest, most often than not, we're going to give credence to the running back in the flex position especially based on workload alone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're looking 3 out of the last 4 weeks for Terry McLaurin. He's barely been at 50 yards, and only one of those weeks has a touchdown on it. So,
and we've seen Heineke really kind of spread the ball around a lot in recent weeks. Now you've got Logan Thomas back to really take away those red zone opportunities today too. But another key contributing factor in that game today too is J.D. McKissick's going to be out, which obviously, if you've followed this podcast before, you know what that means.
I'm surprised Antonio
Gibson.
Antonio Gibson have a different one for him.
Antonio Gibson coming today. Finally, we're getting full workload Antonio Gibson ready to fire it up. I've got him as a solid RB1 today. No question about it.
Does this mean the world is ending because like all your guys are starting to come back in the fold? I'm a little scared.
Yeah, exactly. This is what you planned on.
Next thing you know, the Cowboys are going to be in the Super Bowl or something.
And no matter what the price is of that ticket, I will be there. Okay. If the Cowboys make a Super Bowl, especially any time of the course of like the next couple of years, hell yeah, I'm going. It's been 95 since we've been there. Are you kidding me? I'm going. So
the last time the Braves won, Cowboys won too.
95. Yep. Yeah, that's also true. Jay Allen with that shot needing to know Josh Reynolds or D Hop. Joking, but kinda.
Kind of, sort of, not really, but seriously.
Yeah, because then he also adds in the comment too. Bad weather, less work, first game back is what he's worried about with DeAndre Hopkins. So yes, I agree. Yeah, I agree. That's a cause for concern with Hopkins today. He's not looked good. Let's be, there's no bones about it. Over the course of like the last 2 months, he's just not been DeAndre Hopkins.
I mean, yeah, but
are you?
There's no way.
I was going to say, do you have the stones to plug in Josh Reynolds over DeAndre Hopkins? Is my question.
Not without a bigger body of work. The Lions have shown this. They'll feature a guy, Khalif Raymond, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Quintez Cephas, to where you think, oh, this guy's getting ready to ball out. And then the next week they do nothing. So no, I preach it. Brandon preaches it all the time. Do not venture studs. Granted, this is a little bit different a situation. If you had a better backup, I might say to go with that. But Josh Reynolds is not that better backup. So Josh Reynolds got released from the Titans who need receivers. He is not somebody you play over D-Hop. So.
Yeah, but that was also too, like that was a case of, if you kind of go back and listen to a lot of Mike Vrabel's press conferences, that had more to do with Josh Reynolds than it had to do with them needing him to perform. He just outright pouted once the team traded for Julio Jones because he signed with the Titans under the prerequisite of, hey, I'm going to be the wide receiver 2 in this offense and I'm going to get plenty of chances. And then they go and trade for Julio Jones and he pouted. There's point blank. He quit putting in the work in practice. And that was the reason that he got in Vrabel's doghouse. And that was the reason he eventually got released.
You almost look like you're getting ready to pull like a Captain Lou Albano thing going on here with the.
I mean, it's all right. We just finished up. We just finished up.
You see a little rubber band right on there.
We finished up No Shave November just the other day. So we're on the other side of things.
Last time you've actually shaved.
I can't tell you either. It's for the birds. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. Yeah, the older you get, the less you feel a requirement to shave. It's not like I have a job that like I work for the Yankees and then I have to have a clean face when I show up to work every day.
That's why I'll never work for the Yankees. Paid $1 million a year, not happening.
Negative. I turned down a job when I was 16, working somewhere when they told me that I would need to shave every day, and I said, "Well, you're not going to have me working here."
Yeah, I'm out.
Good luck with that, because nobody tells me to shave my face. That's how we were doing that. So back to the questions. We got 15 minutes before kickoff. We'll fire back in here. C. Shav wanting to know, I need to start 2 between Pittman, Devontae Smith, Hollywood Brown, or Lockett. Obviously, you and I are both going to lock in Hollywood today. So I think our answers are really going to stem down to Pittman or Devontae Smith. Am I wrong? saying that?
No, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think you consider. I mean, Lockett could absolutely be. I mean, this could be a Lockett week. I mean, Lockett. I mean,
Yep.
DK hasn't necessarily looked great. I mean, Seattle is playing the Niners, which, if memory serves me right, I think Lockett's had some really good games. I want to go Devontae Smith really bad, but I don't know why I'm going to go Devontae Smith. I was almost going to say Lockett, but I'm going to go Devontae Smith. But I just have an inkling Lockett is going to do something today.
Nah, I'm away from Lockett. I just don't like how that Seattle offense has looked really over the course of the last few weeks. You know, Pete Carroll keeps putting it out there that, you know, we just got to run the ball more. We've got to establish run. Now you're going to have Adrian Peterson out there getting the bulk of your carries. Get out of here, that mess. And yeah, I think a lot of the issue with Wilson, I think that finger is really, really continuing to bother him, even though they don't want to put that out there. So I think that's really kind of it steers me away from Lockett. I don't trust it. The 49ers defense has been playing well too. So it comes down to Devontae Smith and Pittman. I think for me, I got to go Pittman. I think Pittman gets in the end zone today between those two. I do like both options. I think it's really a coin toss. You could go Pittman or Devontae Smith, and you're going to be fine either way. But I think both of us locking in Hollywood. So Hollywood's for starting one, and then see Chive, whatever your choice is between Pittman or Smith. I think you're going to be good either way with both of those two options. So see. On Andrea jumping back in with the previous question said, got Kupp and Ayuk starting at wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. So are you putting in McLaurin over Ayuk? I think is essentially the question there. Ayuk's on a burner, and Deebo Samuel out as well. I think you ride the hot hand with Ayuk myself.
Yeah, I think my decision stays the exact same. Out of all those people, I'm benching Terry McLaurin. I think your options are just better. I would much rather know what I'm getting with Jamal Williams, and I just don't know what I'm getting with Terry McLaurin in that scenario. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I think we're there. Agreed there as well. And bleeding into this question as well, CEH, Terry McLaurin, Brandon Ayuk. We need to pick one here for Kales. I think we're dead set on Ayuk here.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree.
Yeah, we're going Ayuk there, Kales. So plug in Ayuk and get him ready to go. Andrea also popping in Henderson and Madison. I'm guessing at running back 1 and 2. If I go back to the previous questions, if that's the question, let's just jump back in here to look at what she had previously in there. You're not going to be playing Darrell Henderson. I think he misses the game. Hurt. So you're going to play. You're going to play Madison, Javonte Williams, Jamal Williams at your flex. Terry McLaurin on the bench, and you're going to go with Kupp and Ayuk. Is how we're going to look at that.
And yeah, that may actually open it up. That may actually open it up for her to play McLaurin in the flex, which is what you want to do. We want to bench Henderson. Yeah, I can't remember how many spots we're looking at there, but
yeah. Joe B jumping back in, wanting to know what we think about Lockett and Metcalf today. He's got both.
Man, I mean, it really is tough. I mean, I mean, this is the second week back for Wilson. You know, they always play the Niners well. They always do. Lockett has one of those games every 3, 4, 5 weeks where he just balls out. I've got DK Metcalf. I love DK Metcalf. Man, I feel like I actually just plugged Lockett into another FanDuel lineup. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling like this could be a big Lockett week. I hope it's not for my Metcalf leagues, but that's just what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, obviously Metcalf's just not been targeted very much over the last 3 games. You saw last week he didn't get a target until halfway through the third quarter. I think there's some kind of disconnect there between Wilson and Metcalf currently. I think, if I'm flipping a coin between the two, I'm probably going to go Lockett, even though I don't like it. Metcalf's is kind of almost devolving into the you got to show me type of situation with Metcalf. He's not putting it out there. He's definitely the guy that can pop off a big game at any point in time. Same thing with Lockett, though. It's really it's weird how both of those wide receivers are very, very freezing cold for weeks, and then all of a sudden put up a volcano in your lineup.
And this could be that week. I mean, Adrian Peterson, there's no way that he just does anything on the ground, right? So this could be a big passing weekend for Russell Wilson as well. So
It should be, but I don't trust that coaching staff. That coaching staff is going to hammer in Adrian Peterson, DJ Dallas 30 times into that offensive line for a nice 1.2 yards per carry.
Oh, DJ Dallas as well. I've picked him up in so many leagues, just hoping that I haven't started him in any league.
And Rashad Penny's supposed to be back too, so it's like you're going to have the antithesis of guys that are just going to run into nothing.
2 yards and a cloud of dust.
Yeah, it's just not going to do anything. So by that purpose, you would need to go against the grain and throw the ball. But I just don't see that happening for the Seahawks. Not for the consistency you're going to need out of those two. I just don't like how that offense has been set up here lately. So
or in Seattle, it's 2 yards and a cloud of mist.
Yeah, exactly. With that pissy rain that they have coming through all the time. 909 Orbits need to know flex Freeman, Boston Scott, Bateman, or Breida is a PPR situation.
We hadn't heard from 909. I was going to say he must be really, really, really hurting this week. I would be too with those guys. Go ahead, B. We've got one of your boys in there, Rashad Bateman, so I'm going to let you answer this one.
But I'm actually going to play Freeman, I think I'm going to play Freeman just from workload. Yeah, they've been splitting a little bit of work between he and Latavius Murray, but I think it's really obvious that he's the guy to go with. Boston Scott banged up. I think we're going to see a lot of Miles Sanders. Breida, can't trust that backfield situation in a bad game against New England and that defense. So, it really comes down to Freeman or Bateman. And I just like Freeman a little bit more in the matchup. Bateman has been solid. He's yet to get in the end zone. But I like Freeman a little bit more there.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going to agree with you there. Breida is not somebody I want to start on a week-to-week basis, especially in this matchup. If the matchup were a little easier, my answer may be a little bit different. I think it's going to be Hollywood in the air. So for me, it comes down to Freeman and Scott. I think Miles Sanders is going to be a little bit more of that guy. So my answer, Devontae Freeman.
There you go. Moving on, we got Acrazia. He's already had Lamb play. Got Waddle, Mike Evans, or Patterson. This is a no PPR, so we're going to the classic scoring format. We're looking for a guy to get into the end zone. Out of those three options,
he needs somebody with CD Lamb's thing. I am going to go. Let me just do a quick recap and see where I'm at here. Let's see. What am I feeling? I am feeling. I think in this one, we're going to go Cordarrelle Patterson. He's going to be a guy who I think is going to have a lot more chances than these other two guys. So give me Cordarrelle.
I think I'm going to agree with you there. We're going to go with Cordarrelle Patterson. I think just workload and usage that he's had with the Falcons. I think he's got a better chance of getting the end zone. That's what you're going to need out of those three options. Evans stands a good chance of getting the end zone, but I'm willing to bet Patterson gets in. So that's what I'm looking at there. So we're both going to go Patterson. Secondary question. Needing to know running backs to start Jamal Williams, Javonte, Cordarrelle Patterson, or Sony Michel.
I need to know how many we need here first. If we're starting Patterson, though, I'm assuming that's going to be a guy we don't even have to mention. I think we're starting the Williams boys, right?
Yeah, I think you're going to go with both the Williams. So, depending on the eligibility of Patterson, you can plug him in a wide receiver, plug him in at flex, and then you're going to start both Williams in that situation there for Acrazia.
Yeah, but we're definitely going that. Though.
Yeah, Javonte's in no matter what. Let's not. There's no
tear die.
Yeah, no bones about it.
And if it comes down to Patterson or Williams, Michel's still a good start as well. I mean, let's not discount him. But
when it comes down to Jamal Williams or Patterson, I'm going Patterson.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, no bones about it. And Andrea said, "Do I need to sit Henderson in?" Yes, because I don't think he plays. He's going to test it out pregame. Team is not feeling good about his chances to play. Kale's popping back in, needing to know a couple things here. Cole Beasley, Devontae Parker, Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney.
So back to the first one. I think you heard us earlier. I think we're going to go Beasley in that scenario. Assuming I think she said she's in a PPR here, so we're going to go. Mm-hmm. We're going to go Beasley. If you're not in a PPR, I think we're going to go Parker in that scenario. But yeah, full or half point PPR, we're going to go Beasley. And I think Mooney is going to eat today as well. You got Allen Robinson out yet again. Yep. I'm going to go Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, I agree with you. We're going Beasley and Mooney there, Kales. And last question we've got here in the queue, Pistol Pete. Pistol Pete need to know Jamal Williams, Sony Michel, or Miles Sanders. Pick 2, full point PPR.
Okay, well, Williams is an absolute start. So it comes down to Michel and Sanders. Only really just because of the workload, I think I'm going to go with Sony Michel. I don't exactly know what Miles Sanders is going to give me. I feel like it's going to be a lot more on the ground. Full point PPR, I think Michelle is going to get some receptions. We're going to go that way.
Yeah, no bones about it. We're starting Jamal Williams there, Pete. I agree. Michelle, based on workload alone, I think he has a better chance of getting in the end zone because we've seen in recent weeks Miles Sanders, if he does get close to the goal line, next thing you know, they plug in Boston Scott. Boston Scott gets in the end zone instead of Miles Sanders. So, yeah, I like those two, Jamal Williams and Sony Michel, because we know guaranteed that they are going to be the goal line back for their teams today in their matchup. So, Jamal Williams, Sony Michel, Pete, plug them, lock them in, and ready to go. So that will wrap things up. We got 5 minutes before kickoff. Get those lineups set. Hopefully, we helped you guys out today. Potentially last week of the regular season, if you've not changed your. Yeah, I mean, we're flying through the season now. It's about to be time to start prepping up for the NFL draft. Next thing we know, turning the corner. So. Gosh, work never stops. Got to keep plugging away. But as we look right now, get everything set for your playoff push. Get your lineups ready to go. Hopefully you're ready to, get past the injury bug that has affected all of us here in the 2021 season. So good luck to everybody today. Any other final words you want to throw out there to everybody, Nick?
Man, I think we touched on it earlier, but prep for this week, but prep for next week too. No matter what, go out and grab those defenses, go and get those guys that are on bye that somebody may have dropped. Play for next week. I mean, you definitely need this week, but if some guys are on your bench, go and try to hit a home run next week.
Yes, definitely. So for myself, Roto Superstar, Nick, the real FF Goat, good luck to everybody out there today, and thanks for watching here on the Rotoballer YouTube page. And we will see you next time on another episode of Woo! Fantasy. Javonte Williams.